Hi everyone, welcome to my video about the adjustments that the teachers do when we are teaching a language. In this case, we are talking about what is English language. Well, first of all, I want to say something that is about me. In my case, I'm very popular like Miss Petri, but why I am popular? That's the reason. I don't use a lot of adjustments, just the necessary. Even the level is beginner, I also speak English fluently. I also speak English all the time. I don't exaggerate pronunciation a lot. I just do it when it is really, really required. And also I stop in an explanation at the end of the class or at the middle of the class when I consider the students are not catching the real content, but I don't do a lot. I consider it is very important and it is necessary to do it at the very beginning level when the students are just starting to involve in the language in the beginner's level, that we become a caretaker of the way we speak, and we repeat and we analyze the comprehension that they have. We paraphrase, maybe we speak slowly, we exaggerate the articulations of the pronunciations, and maybe we move our mouth or the feet and stitch in the positions for them to speak. Maybe we can also use more visuals for them to catch the meaning of what we want to say, but they have to analyze. And then we select the instructions and the grammar we are going to teach them for make it more understandable for them. That's real, that's good, and I consider that works. But in my case, I'm a university level teacher, and I say my students, if you didn't learn before A, B, C, D, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to teach you A, B, C, D. In this time, you have to be responsible, you have to be more professional, and also I need that you contribute and to cooperate with me. And what I do is that I speak since the very, very beginning English, the same way I speak in any time with a native speaker. Of course, I'm not a native speaker. I'm not going to be a native speaker, never. But in the content we are analyzing today, we are considering that we have to stop trying to be a native speaker pronunciation in order to make our students understand. And we are going to start, for example, when I say, the people is in the downtown now, I'm doing this loudly, but the students have to force themselves for trying to understand. Well, adjustment. A teacher faced with this situation will need to make adjustments immediately. When I said before, we are going to adjust the way we speak, the way we pronounce, and also how fast we pronounce. What we are going to do in this part is to articulate for them to understand the meaning and the way we pronounce some words and the way we explain them, to give them the necessary tools for a better communication. Then we have the idiom. The teacher begins to use caregiver speech more frequently. The teacher no longer speaks to the students as if they were native speakers, but modifies their speech patterns. Also, this is what I mentioned before. We as teachers have to modify the way we pronounce, the way we speak for the students to get a better understanding. And this is very important that we do it, because sometimes some teachers are not used with these kind of strategies because we used to teach advanced levels, but I consider when we are teaching to beginners, it is very useful to do it. Then the classes become less teacher-centered. There is less teacher talk and more homework facilitation, and the language is divided into key terms. We have to use some specific words for the students to understand what we want they understand. And in this part, we have to be careful what words we choose from the context we are teaching for them to catch the main idea we want they catch. And then another important purpose, and the most important of this, is the learning. We modify, we make adjustments, we articulate, we change the way we speak for the students just for one purpose, to get them learn the language, they get the purpose of learning the language. And we have to put a hand in all the strategies we have for my students, for your students, for all of them to get the learning. That's the main purpose, and we never forget this. The materials are really important, because if the materials are well distributed and they have the real characteristics, we are going to get a real and useful tool for our purpose, that is learning. So the materials can be modified in such a way that the texts are broken down, highlighting their most prominent components. So look at this. One is this, when we say prominent components. So we have to have a good balanced material in which the abilities or the skills to practice are well balanced, listening and speaking, reading and grammar, and also make the content easier for the students to learn, to understand, and to see clarification when they are going to get some instructions for doing an activity. Next, we have tasks need to be more inductive and less grounded in understanding the presentation. The typical method of read the text and answer the following questions become less common. So pay attention to this. The tasks need to be more inductive and less grounded in understanding the presentation. So it means that the student is an active participant in the process of learning, and we have to guide them and we have to give them the tools. But we cannot say that the typical method is working anymore. No more of this. Methodology. When we talk about the methodology, the methods to be more process driven, lots of visual support, pair and group work is more common. We can take any kind of methodology, but the most important, I consider in my experience as a teacher, is that we change different methods in the different contexts we are, because each group has special characteristics and not all groups are working with the same methodology. So we have to be very careful of what methodology to choose according to the age, according to the context, the background, all the characteristics of a group for make a good selection of the methods. For example, in what we are facing now is that we have to use a lot of visual support, but we cannot exaggerate. We have to choose the correct visuals, specific visuals, and also we as teachers have to communicate and teach the students to make the language they are learning a tool, a vehicle for comprehension.